Alright, I think we got it going on the first try, which would be super awesome. I would love it if a plan would come together like that. Excellent. Alright, so I am here. There has been coffee. Life is good. I am working on my Mad Map March map for today. I need to update the lava prompt, so I'm going to work on that. And then if I have time after that, I am going to do some other little bits of catch-up work that I have to do. I need to start my Patreon map today, and I'm doing work on Raven's map right now. So I'm just wanting to make sure that I have those things on the go. So we're going to do this first and then carry on. So the first thing that I want to do is decide where on my map I want to put this particular lava thing. I want to go with a volcano just because it's fun. I drew one this morning in my sketchbook that I'm really happy with, so I think I'm going to adapt it to throw it into here. And I'm going to start with my 01 pen. So I think I want to put the volcano over here, kind of in behind this hill area. So I'm just going to start sketching that in. So I based this on an image that I found on Google because references are your friends. But I'm amending it to kind of suit my style just in terms of the presentation. So one of the things I'm trying to remember to do as I'm building out the shapes that make up my mountain is to pay attention to how this flares at the bottom. So your typical volcano is a cone with the top blown off if it's this particular style of volcano. So I'm trying to figure out how to represent that flare, how it merges into the rest of the landscape when it gets back down kind of to base level. something like that. And then I want to express that it is erupting. I need to weigh this down on this side. It's bouncing too much. There we go. Pardon the shaky cam for a second. That's better. Something like that. Just add some texture to the bottoms of the smoke plumes. The steam, I guess, is more likely. Just to kind of build that up and round it out a bit. Oh, thanks, John. How's it going? Sorry, I just looked up, but I don't know how long you've been there. I'm glad you're awesome. That's exciting. I want all of my people to be exciting. Well, awesome. You can be exciting or not if you want. Are you working on a map right now? Pardon me. Oh wow, that's gonna be a bit of a trek, hey? Although honestly, I think I might have enjoyed it more if I had to create a map from start to finish that had all of the components, just because they're not very well organized on this piece and it's kind of bothering me. I mean, it's the process, right? I guess I shouldn't complain. Oh, cool. What kind of character? Yeah, I was going to and then I didn't. And it was just like probably should have. It is honestly a little bit of a regret. Oh, cool. I'm watching Critical Role for the first time. I'm on like episode 13 of the first campaign. I'm quite enjoying it. That's a lot of fun. It's a nice thing to have on in the background while I'm working. A friend of mine said to me that I should make a campaign source book for the world that I'm playing my campaign in right now. They were like, it could be really awesome because you can do all your own illustrations and all your own maps. And I was like, you're not wrong. It also sounds like a massive pile of work. It's something to think about, though. I've got a lot of other work on the plate at the moment, but it might be fun to start playing with that. Yeah, I can imagine you'd want to skip around because otherwise I think you'd probably get burnt out on the process after a while. I find that with just writing in general, I need to have a couple different places I can go if a certain area is stymieing me. The noble families. Nice. What's your method for being like, this is how many noble families I have? Like, do you have a strong genealogical history in your area? Or were you like, I'm gonna roll a d20. This is what I have? Hey, Gary. Nice. Yeah, Donjon's pretty useful for just being a seed of things. And then you can just be like, I'm gonna go from there. Because sometimes the worst part is figuring out where to start. Like, not gonna lie. I think we need a little bit more cloud in here. Alright. Cool. That's a good way to start. Keeps everything pretty symmetrical. Need to mix myself some colors. Let's see, what was I using? Was this one? Oh, more water, please. There we go. Guys, there's dog hair on my palette. Ugh. Saxon, why are you everywhere? He always wants to contribute to the process, Gary. It's kind of his jam. I wish he was a little bit less generous with some of his donations. There are times when that is a thing, for sure. I don't know. Probably because there's more light coming through, so you're having a better white ratio. And the human eye is drawn to white. Just simply because darkness makes things really hard for us to read. So, I mean, that's the primary draw for watercolor, is being able to work with a much more translucent medium. Fists of Ham sounds like it could be a punk band. I gotta clean off my yellow, that's gross. Sometimes I'm just so sloppy with my palette. Come here. Part of it is because working in pure color basically never happens in nature. So you just kind of have to make a decision about how clean you want your paints to be. Well, I mean, 4-H circuit punk bands, those are a thing, aren't they? Ooh, way too dark. It's a little bit different than we built this city on rock and roll, isn't it? I've got a single strand on my brand new paintbrush that does not want to stay true, and it's making me crazy. It's like, you were in a very expensive brush. Don't screw up on me now. I think I'm gonna have to wash it with some stuff and condition it and see if I can get it back into shape. The great thing about sables is you can treat them like human hair, and that will do a lot to keep them in really good shape. I'm not sure perming the brush would help. Oof, that's dark. Carry it out, carry it out. I like that. That works for me. At least you remembered. I wouldn't feel bad about it. It's not like me going, oh man, I forgot to go to the bank. Which I did. But that's okay. The bank thing will get sorted out. Alright, I have a volcano. I'm pretty content with that. I'm actually really quite happy with that steamy, smoky eruption cloud. That works for me. Cool. Cool. I think I want to put a little bit of color on their shield. That needs a smaller brush. There we go. a little better. Okay, I have a volcano. I think maybe we'll finish adding to the waterfall that I put in. That would be smart. I don't really have a plan today, you guys. I'm just trying to get caught up on some stuff. Sorry if I seem a little more disorganized than usual. Not that I ever really pretend to be organized. That's a thing. Alright, moving the camera again. Up on the stuff that is dry, because dry is better. Put that down as a weight. Alright, so I have a waterfall over here. Let's go to a smaller pen. Put a cave behind the waterfall. I like that plan. Hey, Paulo. Sorry, just looked up. How's it going? These are a student set of watercolors by Lucas. They cost me, I think it was about $56 Canadian. I find them to be really good quality. I love that it's a metal case, and I love this little loop because I actually do paint outside a fair amount just with that anchored to my finger. And then I can hold it in my hand, and it's incredibly functional that way. I'm not a huge fan of all of the color choices. These three in particular, actually these four, are not very translucent, and I strongly prefer high translucency in my watercolor paints. So, but the best thing is this, like many other watercolor pans, I can take the bricks out and sub in new ones. So I'm actually in the process of researching what I want to make my replacements with, and then I'm going to sub out a couple of the pans. I think it's very good for the money, and I can get a really good range of color out of it. What am I closing this for? I still need it. I always keep a paper towel or something tucked in this side so I can blot my brush off and do my mixing on this side generally. And I typically travel with it in my bag with a bunch of water brushes. So if you've never seen a water brush, they're really cool. This is full of water. So instead of me having to carry around a little jam jar full of water with me all the time, I can just take my brushes with me. And they don't leak. I've never had a problem with that. I don't find the flat brush as useful as the rounds. I find I don't get the hydration as evenly across the tip of that. Oh, and they're horribly stained because I don't wash them out very well because I'm usually just using them all the time. This is probably my favorite, the larger round. But I do use the small round quite a bit as well. But yeah, so I have a little bag that I carry around. It's in my backpack 100% of the time. And my paints fit in here. My water brushes fit in here. And I have the tiniest canister of salt. Because when you add salt to watercolor, it does really great things. So yeah, this is always in my backpack. I wasn't very confident with watercolors for a super long time. And I'm still not, honestly. That's why I'm doing this project in watercolors, to try and force myself to work with it some more. But I've found that having that in my bag is more useful than carrying a massive brick of markers. And it just helps me to work with it more often, which is a thing that I need to do if I'm planning on improving. It is a really cool little salt shaker, hey? I don't even remember where I found it. I can't refill it, I don't think. So, unless I try to, like, shove more salt back in through the little holes in the top. But, like, it's adorable. And super small. Well, maybe I can get the bottom off, I don't know. But it's, like, covered in paint because it's gotten run into things. But yeah, super handy. I've never seen a salt shaker this tiny. It is tiny. Like, I wish I knew where it came from. I love it too. Other people have been like, I want one. And I'm like, I'm sorry. I have absolutely no idea how I got this. It's one of the most interesting and useful things I own, and I have no idea where it came from. Back to your classes and students. Well, enjoy the rest of your day. Absolutely. Whenever you're around, I'm around. In the meantime, I'm going to keep working on this, and I'll post the results of today's stuff up to Facebook, to the Monocled Octopus page there, if you want to check it out later. Take care of yourself. I'm really not doing a good job of looking up at the chat today, you guys. Like, really, really. That is way too green. I think it would have helped if I had actually, like, planned this out as a watercolor project from the beginning, because I'm doing it on not watercolor paper. And that definitely affects how the color lays down. More dog hair. I love Saxon. He's just in everything in my house. I guess that's the hazard of living with a pet, right? It is very pleasant how he's sleeping on my feet right now, though. Oh, really? Can you post a link for that, Gary? Because maybe other people will want to know about it. I know that I could probably recommend it to a few people. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but the people doing the renovations in the queues next door are going for broke this morning. So loud. I hope you can't hear it. I would prefer that it not be disturbing you. Oh, okay. Well, thank you for researching. I'm trying to figure out how I'm gonna make this color transition work. Something like that, maybe? Build that up a bit more once it's dry. That could be a thing. Oh, really? That's weird. I don't really think we need 5 cubic feet of salt. Although, what do I know? Mixing browns is one of those things that I struggled with for a super long time. I'm still not good at it. But once you learn the knack of it, it really expands your range. It gives you so many more options than you had in terms of just shade and subtle variants and stuff. Oh, I was going to show you guys my color mixing Bible book because I thought that it might be useful for people. Just a second here. Okay. It really depends on what you're shading, Gary. The colors that you use for shading is really dependent on like what color of light is ambient in the atmosphere, what color of direct light is hitting your object, what color the thing is, because that affects what colors get bounced back off of it. It can be really all over the place. Usually shading with black is a bad idea though, just because there's so little straight black in the universe. Like this isn't a black in here. This is, I think, a Payne's gray, or a lamp black. I can't remember. I'd have to look up the list. And both of them are kind of darker, grittier blues. Actually, I can show you the color undiluted. That's this right here, wash down. And it's super useful for cooling things off without blocking off all of the light that's reflecting back off the paper, because you don't want to do that as much as possible. It's what loses vibrancy in watercolors. Anyway, I was going to show you guys this book because it's awesome. So this is the Color Mixing Bible by Ian Sidaway, and it was published in 2002. I think it's still available on Amazon. I didn't think to check before deciding I was going to show it to you guys. This is probably the most useful book I've ever come across in terms of teaching you about color theory, and then in terms of just having boatloads of swatches so that you can see how colors mix together. So the way that it works is that they've taken a standard set of colors across the top. These are very common colors. These get used all the time. And then they've taken more specialty colors across going on the side. And then they've combined them in swatches with different ratios of each color to show you how you get the mixes and what that result is going to be like. They cover a whole bunch of medium in here. Like this page is for oils, but they also do acrylics. They do watercolors, which is super useful if you're me. They do pencil crayon, which is in here somewhere. Oh, gouache, which is also something I'm trying to learn how to use right now. Pencil crayons. I don't think they did ink. Oh, pastels. That was the other one that I was forgetting. Oh, awesome. Thanks, Gary. So yeah, it's one of those books that is just super, super useful. If you have interest in working with color, I think this is an excellent thing to pick up. I think it will really kind of expand your thinking on things. And yeah, it's completely worth having a look at. So I paid about $30 for it too back in the day, so it's nice to know that it hasn't gone up an extreme amount. But yeah, I'll get that link for Amazon and I'll put it in the description when I post the video up. But I think that it's just super useful in terms of being able to learn your color theory, and the more you know about that, the richer your work is going to be. So I wanted to share that. I busted it out this morning because I was looking for something and I was like, oh yeah, this might be a useful resource for people. So where was I? I was painting rocks. Used hardcover. I've never seen it in hardcover. But I'm also kind of reluctant to spend that much money on a book right now. I love books, and I cheerfully spend a lot of my money on books, but when I can get the soft cover for a fraction of the price and there's no pressing need to have the hardcover, I will wait. Thanks for looking that up, Gary. Honestly, though, having that book has really made working with this paint palette so much more accessible for me. Like, I knew the basics of color mixing before I picked up my palette, but I had not worked with it extensively. So, being able to sit down and be like, I don't understand how to get some subtle colors out of what are really, really bright colors in that paint box. And then was like, oh, okay, this is what I need to do. Just, it helped. It made everything go a lot faster and just be a lot more accessible. And I'm all about anything that does that for people. Let us remove the barriers to the art making. All right. I like that. That works for me. Research gnomes. Depends, are you a gnome? Alright, my darlings, that has been my hour, and I have hit my conclusion for where I wanted to get on this map for today. So I am going to head off and do my thing. I hope that all of you have good days. John, good luck with your character. Let me know how it goes. Gary, good luck with whatever you've got going on today. Paulo, I know you're going back to class, but I hope your class is good and your students are nice. I will be back next Thursday as usual, and I will be on the Discord if people want to come hang out there. All right. Love you much. Bye.